4, 3, 2, 1.
Get over here! Hi, I'm martial art master Daniel Pacino. You know me as the original Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, and Smoke. You are tuning in to NerdCage Live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Don't miss an episode or you'll get caged. So let's finish him.
This is Anthony Marquez, better known as Kung Lao for Mortal Kombat. Make sure to like and subscribe to NerdCage Live. Be there. Us.
Hi, I'm Leah Montalongo, the OG Sindel. Please like, subscribe to NerdCage Live.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe. Okay. Shoot it! All right!
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run. But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running!
Run faster. Oh no, Joe. The galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
Greetings, citizens! You're now trapped in the nerd cage with your hosts Marq and Jay. We hope you have a smashing good time.
You're now about to witness the strength of geek knowledge. Look at this. Biggest stream ever. The biggest collection of nerds in one channel. Here we go. Hello and welcome. That's right. You're trapped in NerdCage Live. This ain't just a reaction show, but a debate show. And we're starting a debate tonight and a live discussion on everything that makes people like you and I tick. So thank you for joining us on this special edition Monday night, The Batman spoiler stream. Keyword spoiler alert. Please hit that like button and subscribe. I'm your co-host, Jay St. G, certified geek, 7 days a week, coming to you live from yours truly, Syracuse, New York. And always among us, our moderator and trollhammer, stronger than the DK Banana Slammer. It's Joe from Fallen One Gaming, and always with me, the warrior from Wakanda, the Fiend, from Louisville, my man, Marq Withers. What's going on?
What's happening, man? Super excited to be here as usual. And yes, tonight is the night. We are going to chop it up about the Batman. We have all been chomping at the bit to talk about this one. And this is such a big movie, so much going on in it that we at NerdCage Live did not feel like we could just really just tackle this by ourselves. So we had to assemble the league. We had to put together an all-star cast here. So many that I don't even think I can introduce everybody. So I don't know how we're gonna do it. Jay, how are we gonna do this one?
You know what? We're just gonna get right to it. So we're gonna go around in a circle to start off, and all these gentlemen on screen are gonna introduce themselves, where that you can find them. Link in the description, by the way, and they're gonna give their general thoughts. So, all the way over from New York City. From the Resistant Films and the Z Movie Podcast, we got Yoko Higuchi. How you doing, sir?
How's it going, guys? Thank you so much for having me here. You can find me on Twitter at the Yoko Higuchi, same as Instagram. And I have a film production crew, and we do short film, feature films at a small indie level. And I'm here to talk about Batman. I'm ready, and thank you for having me. I got this Batman shit with me.
Nice.
So I am ready. I also got this hat. So I am 100% ready. Let's go. Let's do it.
Excellent. And give your general thoughts. Did you love the movie? Hate the movie? Just give us a general feel, real quick.
Yeah, I loved it. I was completely in a trance after watching it. I almost couldn't believe that a movie like this could be made by a film studio that is trying to create a marketable type of movie. This is not a typical blockbuster film. It's very much a throwback to the noir films of the past. It's a more meticulously crafted film, and I think it's more in line with a movie like Dune as opposed to a movie like Shang-Chi. And that's not an insult to either movie. It's just that the filmmaking is so different in terms of how blockbuster movies are usually crafted. This is completely different. So I was so happy to see a movie of this budget, this vision, and this length as well. I like long movies, and I feel like the art of 3-hour movies are kind of fading away, and I'm glad this is sort of bringing it back again into the spotlight. So yeah, overall, I loved it.
All right, before we move on to the next guy real quick, Joe, say hello to everybody in the chat for us real quick.
All right, in the chat today, we have Stephanie Barui. We have Shay Smithers.
Hey, Shay.
Hey. We have Tangoji.
Tangoji,
Davis. Paige has stepped out. She hasn't seen the movie yet, but she did stop by. Cindy Lou, VCG Cosplay, Charles K, Ace Merrick, Sunzilla 2008, and Juan Frazier.
Hey! I used to remember
Awesome.
way back in
Awesome.
the day.
How's it going, Ace? Hey, guys.
So thank you, everybody,
Guys,
for joining us.
thanks
Thank
for
you so
joining
much.
us tonight.
Thank you very much. And of course, I wanted to introduce another good friend of mine, Pest the Analyst. Man, we're so happy to have you here, man.
Hi, what's up, everybody? PTA Sports, Pest the Analyst. Good to see y'all. Glad everybody's doing well. You can find me on YouTube at PTA Sports. You can also find me on Twitch, PTA Sports. You can find me on Twitter at Pestilence, PESTALANCE. And the same thing for Instagram, even though I don't really use Instagram. So yeah, that's where you can find me. And my quick, brief thoughts on this movie. Not bad, but I'm not happy. And we'll leave it at that, and I'll explain why I'm not happy in a little bit.
Of course,
All
we
right.
can't have an echo chamber in here. That's what I love about this. And of course, from Lancaster, Cali, from Bonus Commentary, Derek, what's going on, man?
Hey, man. Thank you again for having me here. I'm super excited to be here. I am Derek of the what was once Bonus Commentary podcast. You can find me on YouTube under Bonus Commentary, and you can find me on my revived Twitch under I Am the One Who Nerds. Yes, I realize my username is actually Ascendance. I've been playing Elden Ring and having a blast with it, so please consider subscribing if you would. Thank you. As for the film itself, I'll admit that I was hyped. Everything kind of led me to believe that this was going to be a grandiose feature, and admittedly, with that in mind, my brain was like, okay, now we gotta take it apart. So when I went into it with a critical eye, I still enjoyed the film very much, but it wasn't the perfect film that I was promised. And we'll get into that as we move along, because we have a lot of people here, so I don't want to take up too much time.
All right, fair enough. And of course, the man that turns bodies into sand, the one and only WilldBand from Phoenix, Arizona. What's going on, man?
Hello, NerdCage. Good to be back. Good to be here with this panel of amazing fellow content creators. Find me here on YouTube, WilldBand, on Twitter at WilldBand, Instagram, WilldBand, and on TikTok, WilldBand24. I'm currently reacting to the Batman the Animated Series here on YouTube, as well as Rania or Neon just even dealing with Brian. But as for the quick thoughts on the movie, I ended up really liking this. I definitely want to see this again. I do have like the tiniest bit of nitpicks for it, but it does those nitpicks do not like deter from my enjoyment of this grandiose film. It's really, really good. If you have not seen it yet, go see it.
Absolutely. And it's been a minute since he's been on our channel, but we want to welcome back our dear friend Joseph Spiller from the University of Maine. How you doing, man?
Doing good. I'm not sure what I am anymore. I used to do some music stuff. I still got some records coming out with Bionatops and Caricature. I think I'm a sociologist now. I'm presenting this weekend at the Eastern Sociological Society meeting, so I think that makes me one. I presented last year. We'll see how that goes. I'm not much of a, I don't know, social media guy, but at Joseph Spiller on Instagram, at Caricature Hope on Twitter, and at Caricature Official on YouTube. As for the movie, I went in with super low expectations. Sorry, y'all. I think the DCU is garbage. And I know this isn't part of the DCU.
My man.
Shots fired.
I know shots fired. I know this isn't
Hot
part
take,
of the
hot
DCU. But it was better than expected. And I'll leave it at that because I think when we get into it, it'll make a little more sense. And I don't want to take up too much time.
Okay.
Hey, just quickly, like, off topic though, your hoodie is fire, dude. I love that hoodie.
Invincible, baby. Love that show. Amazon Prime always bring us great content. Invincible is amazing, by the way. Everyone should also check out Diabolical, the boys' cartoon as well.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, moving in for the kill, the magical man from Off the Beaten Podcast. It's Dion McGill, man. How you doing, buddy? Always happy to have you.
What's up? All the charm, only half the harm. No need to hide the kids, baby. Off the Beaten Podcast is home. No, hey, thank you guys for having me. Great. You know, Off the Beaten Podcast is just the podcast that gives voice to the city of Chicago and the amazing people that live here. It's as simple as that. Check it out. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I think I got a TikTok, but I can't remember. And so it is what it is. Thank you. Yeah. So, man, you know what? I love this movie. I know with like me, Mark, and Jason, we've talked before, like I've always felt that DC struggles a lot to find like their perfect place and like create these perfect tones of their films, right? I feel like Shazam kind of like really hit it. I'm hoping Black Adam hits it, but like I feel like for this film they hit it, right? I've never read a Batman comic book a day in my life. The only thing I know about Batman is like movies, but I felt like this was a perfect exploration of this person who's going through trauma, right? Exceptionally going through trauma. He's grieving and he has all these issues and he decides this is what I'm going to do. And he's a little bit crazy and he hasn't, we know who he becomes, but he's not there yet. And he's just this rough piece of clay who's just beating people's asses left and right. And I just thought it was really good because it explores a lot of those issues and like while highlighting how intelligent he is, even at this juncture, you know, and this little tribe he has around him. So I loved it. I thought it was great. I would see it again for sure. So yes.
All right, Dion, thanks so much. And of course, he is the voice of NerdCage Live we got just his mugshot because his camera ain't working, but we got the mugshot of Matthew Farden. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I mean, I was just gonna say, you know, the only place you can find me is just picture me right now. So, but yeah, no, like what Jay said, I'm the voice. Very privileged to be the voice of NerdCage Live. I'm an actor, voiceover artist, show creator, writer. You can find me on Instagram at my full name at Matthew Farden. And yeah, so I'm just. I'm going to get into it as well, too, not say too much because we have a lot to discuss. I thought it was okay. Now, I'm not saying it's like a 5 or a 4 or something like that. I think it's above average. I think it's really, really, like, I liked it. There were some stylistic choices and certain things. It wasn't Pattinson. I thought he was a fantastic Batman. I thought he did a really good Batman, especially because seeing that they were going with like the younger route, I really appreciated how they showed like a Batman struggling with himself his first couple years into like becoming Batman. So it wasn't him at all. It was just some stylistic decisions and also like some plot holes that I found and some writing. But besides that, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
Excellent. All right. Mark Withers, man of the hour. Go ahead, dish out your general thoughts, and we'll move to Joe, and then we'll transition.
I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, man. And I expected to. You know, when the cast was announced, when the director was announced, when we got a brief synopsis of what the story was going to be and who was going to be involved, who the main villain was, I got really excited and really eager to watch this. And then when we started to see the trailers, first at DC Fandom, then, you know, later on when we got subsequent trailers, I got more and more hyped for this. I saw this just a few days ago, and my expectations were met. Few nitpicks aside, I really did enjoy this, you know, particularly because of Paul Dano's, sorry, I can't speak tonight, particularly because of Paul Dano's portrayal of the Riddler. I'd never seen a version of the Riddler that was like that was actually intense and scary at points, and at the same time, just like totally captivating and interesting, like you kind of want to know this guy. Also, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I mean, to me, she was the MVP of this whole thing. I just really loved her performance in it. My only critique in this film really is that I thought that Pattinson's portrayal as Bruce, you know, when he was outside of the costume, when he was just Bruce Wayne and not Batman.
Agreed.
That his performance was not quite up to par. Like it felt phoned in, like he really wasn't engaging. But other than that, you know, I really liked it. I give it about an 8 out of 10.
All right, Joe from Fall One Gaming, give your general thoughts. By the way, he saw it in IMAX and 4DX. Joe, your general thoughts, and then go ahead. Let's unleash the very first topic, man. So go ahead, Joe.
Alrighty, this movie, it's not a perfect movie by any stretch, but it is a wild ride. It has a lot of mystery and suspense that I can get behind. And, you know, it has characters revisited in different ways you've never seen them before. The Penguin, for one, I think stole the show in this. And, you know, it met every expectation I needed to see. So I think it's a pretty well-rounded movie.
All right. So here we go, guys. Joe, how are we going to start off the show? We're just going to unleash.
All right, we're going to get right into the characters. So first thing we're going to talk about is Batman himself, Bruce Wayne's portrayal, and maybe some of the gadgets that he uses.
All right, so off to the races, guys. Bruce Wayne, Rob Pattinson's Batman. What'd y'all think?
For me, I really enjoyed Pattinson's portrayal. I know probably a lot of us were skeptical, like, oh, Twilight's playing Batman.
Right. Oh, no, dude. Yeah, after Lighthouse?
No, I've always had faith.
After Lighthouse, Pattinson was no longer Twilight.
Yeah,
it was basically a Heath Ledger moment, because when Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker, everyone was like, Heath Ledger from like, you know, that's not, no. And then he proved him wrong.
Yeah, and I would very much say Pattinson did a fantastic job as both Batman and Bruce Wayne. And I will say, this Bruce Wayne he played, it's a different Bruce Wayne. We're so used to like the billionaire playboy, like Keaton. He had those parties and like the women, and then Selena Kyle. With Christian Bale, he was the playboy who was kind of an asshole. But with Pattinson, he was still that hurting, grieving Bruce Wayne that has yet to fully grow up yet. And I kind of like that. It showed a very vulnerable character that we don't really see too often when it comes to the Batman. The gadgets themselves were really, really cool. I loved his little adrenaline shot. I loved his new cool. battering / bat knife that was his emblem.
Oh yeah,
that was
great.
Cool. I loved that.
A lot of really cool stuff in this specific Batman portrayal.
Yo, in the chat, Rumble Dragon in the chat nailed it perfect. It's emo Bruce Wayne, and that's the problem I had. I fucking hated his Bruce Wayne, but I loved his Batman. I'm sorry, his Bruce Wayne sucked ass, dude.
The Batman was so good. The Batman character was very good. I was very happy. Even though I don't quite like this movie, I like that Batman. This Batman I want Batman to do two things, okay? I want him to investigate clues, and I want him to beat the shit out of people, okay? And I got that. I got that with Batman, and he was inexperienced. He was getting his ass kicked. He was getting shot up. He was like he did not walk away from this movie feeling good the next day, right? He got the shit kicked out of him in this movie, and I was good with that. But like the Bruce Wayne. Oh my God! Like I understand that you're sad. I understand that you're still kind of hurting, right, bro? But you're an adult now.
It's like, 20 years ago, exactly.
Well, you're an adult now, bro. You're an adult.
Right.
Well, and also a style
because like I can deal with like a sad Bruce Wayne, but show me a sad Bruce Wayne. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I felt like anytime he didn't have the mask on, he was just kind of there. Even like I'll give you an example, like the funeral scene. Right, when he sees the little kid and he just kind of stares at him and the kid stares back, like you would expect there to be some kind of facial expression, some kind of body language that would tell you like,
we all knew he was sizing him up for a Robin costume.
We all know the deal.
I was just going to say, I was getting Jason Todd vibes from that.
Yeah.
Right. Young man, do you like bright colors and being compared to birds?
But he just kind of looked catatonic to me in that scene. And then on top of that, like the all the scenes with Alfred, they just didn't connect for me.
It didn't work.
It didn't look like look like they were close.
Alfred didn't work. It didn't work at all. Like Alfred is supposed to be like a member of the family, but Alfred seemed very like cold towards Bruce.
Right.
Like he
it seemed very cold with you. Yeah, and at the same time, Alfred is supposed to be this, because he was a secret agent, and I mean, it's not against. I don't have anything against like the direction with. I'm trying to think of how to best say this. It's when I watch a Batman thing, and I understand everybody has their creative, licenses and what they do with it, but when Alfred's there. Alfred is this guy, he's got this MI6 background and, he's like this, he's this posh, he's just like, Master Wayne, I told you that, we will get through this, Master Wayne. And then all of a sudden Andy Serkis comes, and I love Andy Serkis, nothing against him. I just didn't like the, hello, governor, what's going on here? You're the Batman, you know what I'm saying? Yo, what are you doing? I'm going to leave. It was just like that's not the Alfred that is supposed to be, and it's been shown even when they had Michael Caine was in the Dark Knight one. Even him, he sort of had that Cockney, but you could definitely tell he was more the butler. He was sophisticated, but he was also trying to be like Bruce Wayne's Rock during all this stuff. Andy Serkis did a great portrayal, but something just was not firing right.
It could have been written better.
Yeah, exactly. He's just kind of there, and then he's in the hospital, and he's like, he's just like, do this to protect you, and then he's just like, okay. It's like, I don't know.
They managed to turn Alfred and Bruce Wayne into the Odd Couple. Like it was weird.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of felt
agree with
like I kind of
Kyle
felt like
connection.
Andy Serkis was like, this is how I saw it. So like, it looked to me like Andy Serkis was really like trying to connect with Pattinson in those scenes. Pattinson wasn't giving him anything back, like to work with.
Yeah, that's true. And on top of that, too, we also have to remember that there's Andy Serkis isn't your average actor. I'm sure, as you guys know, too, that he's done a lot of mocap work as Gollum and, and Caesar and like all that kind of stuff. Not diminishing his acting, but Andy Serkis hasn't had too many roles where he's actually just done actual, it's just, it's just him acting. He's not putting on like a major character or something like that. And especially with my experience with acting, some people have like those hard sort of transitions. Some people are character actors, some people method, there's a different category for everything. And I think putting Robert with Andy, and also Andy basically, because I could also tell with some deliveries and stuff like that, like he's a great actor, but you can really tell that like Andy's wheelhouse is doing character mocap stuff. He's and in this one, that's why that also doesn't make sense to cast Andy Serkis because of how he is. I'm not saying not to give him the benefit of the doubt, but like Andy Serkis is very, very animated. And Alfred is more stoic, and he's there, and he has kind of like, even in the animated series, which I know Wildcat's watching, like, he has like some smirks here and there, very subtle sort of things, but he's supposed to be the grounding point for Bruce Wayne. And Andy Serkis just is, to me, he's just too animated, and they just, both of them just don't really play off each other well.
Right.
One last thing I want to kind of bring up, how he treated Selena throughout pretty much the entire movie was kind of controlling. It felt like a controlling boyfriend, very creepy. Like he's just kind of staring at her from across the street. It didn't feel. I mean, I know this is obviously a younger Batman. Maybe he's still discovering his body. I don't know, but it just didn't feel right. A full-grown Pattinson. It was a little weird, and like. Obviously, this is a spoiler, but when he was like, why didn't you tell me you had a relationship with Falcone? Like, dude, you just met this lady. What the hell is wrong with you? Maybe take it back, take it back 2 steps. Maybe take her out to dinner first.
Yes, it was too much. It was definitely too much. He was definitely a creeper, without question. He was
absolutely. On a random note, too, was it just me, or like in the beginning of it, when obviously it's not Pattinson. It's obviously like the Riddler in the beginning, where he's like looking through the things. Am I the only one that got motion sickness when I watched that whole thing, like in the beginning? It's just constant. I mean, I understand the perspective, but I just watched that and I was like, I get it, but at the same time, this shot is going too long.
It's all those violent video games made me
listen. Going too long was a common theme in this movie. I was gonna put that out there. That was a common thing. Going too long. It's going too long.
I think next we can actually transition into the Riddler himself and how that was portrayed.
This Riddler was kind of scary. Like that first scene where he's in the mayor's house and it turns off the TV, walks when you see him standing there. I got Michael Myers vibes straight up. And then later when we go into his like apartment, like, okay, this is a combination of the Zodiac Killer, Michael Myers, and Jigsaw. This dude is fucking insane.
Yeah, dude. I got major Jigsaw vibes. Yeah.
Let me get in here and spoil this real quick for anyone. So like off the top, Dano slayed this as this role. How it was written, I thought he was so good in it. But I also loved him in the Beach Boys movie, Love and Understanding or whatever the name of it is, where he played Brian Wilson.
Right.
But this is, I know DC tried to be real cute with the Hush animated movie, and they changed who Hush is. It's supposed to be Damian Wayne, the lost brother of Bruce Wayne, and to like preemptively get it into like canon or like the perception that the Riddler is Hush. And in this movie, he's more Hush than he is Riddler. So coming in, the whole like focal point of Hush when he comes into Batman's world is he's like the only person that knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
I just want to intervene real quick. The impression I got, and Joe, we talked about it in the theater, is like, is anyone here ever played the Batman Arkham series, the games?
Yes.
Okay, that's the Riddler from Arkham City. The Riddler from Arkham City, the Jigsaw approach. That's the impression I got personally, is that this gave me the Riddler from the Arkham games kind of vibes, And I thought I thought that was cool. They ripped the page off of that.
This gave me more like Kevin Spacey in Seven.
I was gonna say John Doe.
Oh, for sure.
That's the
I will say the only thing that like I was kind of hoping for with a Riddler-based villain movie, I was hoping for a battle of wits as a final battle, maybe akin to something like Doctor Strange versus Dormammu, where it's like he already knows who Bruce Wayne is, he already knows who Batman is, and I think it's the end of the Long Halloween comic where they basically do that, where it's Riddler versus Batman. Yes. He's like, I know who you are, Bruce Wayne. And Batman's like, well, if you tell anybody, it's not going to be fun for you anymore. And Riddler goes, oh, shit. That's basically how that fight goes, and he gives himself up.
But does he know? Because
they're very vague about it.
They sort of made it like he did, but then he didn't at the same time.
They were like,
you can really take it either
we'll
way.
Get him next time. Kind of like making it sound like he didn't know, and that like he was just fixated on him, and he was just telling him that he was fixated on Bruce Wayne. But it's so unclear. That's one of the issues I do have with the movie. Is that some of these things they're set up to play a certain way, and they're so muddy that it's not really clear.
Yo, Yoko, I want your opinion on Riddler, Max. We haven't heard from you in a minute here, so Yoko, quick, thoughts on Riddler, man?
I liked the Riddler in this. I like the approach of making it him more like a serial killer. Obviously, I think as a purist, I do want to see a version in the future of the Riddler in the green suit with the question marks all over it. Like, I do like that iconography.
Same here.
Yeah, and I understand that they're going in a different approach, and that's why I'm able to accept this version. And I think just kind of like the sort of like Bruce Wayne and some of the changes that were done with his character, I think I sort of view the Batman kind of like the Joker movie that came out, where it's not really accurate, but it's faithful to the spirit of the original. And that's why I'm able to accept a lot of the changes that were made to a lot of the characters, and I kind of view it as, like, this is a contemporary version of Batman and not like the leaping from the comics Batman. It's a different approach to it. And Riddler is the same thing. He's not the classic Riddler that we know, but it sort of retains the same spirit of it, and I think that's what I enjoyed the most about him. And his voice is just like haunting to me. Like him screaming on the phone and like it's really it's nuts. It's just terrifying. And it's also kind of like, it's so like real world ish that I got like uncomfortable like in the theater. I felt like a cold feeling in my chest, like, oh god, this is too, I don't know, real. And I think in these like weird times that we're in, he was more effective than maybe audiences would see. Like, if audiences saw the Batman in 2050, I don't know if it would have the same effect as it would have for audiences in 2020 seeing this portrayal, like this specific version of him. But
it's like they took the Dark Knight and they took Joker and they made like a happy medium where it was still, like you said, it has that realism to it, but it's got all the gadgets and some of the quirkiness of the Dark Knight, but with having the grounding, but then also the very dark side of like the Joker.
You know, it's really funny because as I walked out of the theater, which I walked out as soon as the credits roll, I was out. I dipped, but I walked out of the theater and I said to the Korean, for those who don't know, the Korean is my wife. I said to her, "Did that movie happen in the Joker's world? Like, is this in the Joker? Because that's what it felt like to me. It felt like it felt like the same kind of a vein as what they did with the Joker. A lot of focus on real world mental health." A lot of focus on real world armament, right? Batmobile looks real. It looks like a real car that you could see in real life. It's not all comic book.
It was all practical stuff.
Very practical. Everything that Batman used was practical in real life. It could be utilized in real life, and so that's what made me say, this feels like this happened in the Joker's universe. Like,
except those like weird contact lenses that he has.
It
was cool. It's cool though. It's cool though. But
I do like that.
I will say this one.
Next one.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'll go for it.
I was just gonna say just this one quick thing because I want everyone else to have their take. I kind of like what Yoko was talking about. Like, he could understand, obviously he wants more of like a traditional Riddler down the road, and he understands like the direction that they were going, and I get that too. But what I didn't like is kind of like what you were talking about. This is more of like, is this like the Joker? I didn't like, the one major thing that I didn't like is how insane he was like the Joker, because the Riddler's makeup is, the Riddler, he doesn't want to just, instantly like have his riddles and then kill people instantly. He wants the whole, it's like a cat and mouse sort of thing. The Riddler wants you, even if you don't get it, he's like, come on, I want to keep playing. Come on, get it. He doesn't want to just go right for the kill. So especially the part with the commissioner where he was already like on the videotape or whatever, and then he was already killed. I was just like, okay, that's kind of more of like, it gave me Heath Ledger vibes. When the Joker was just like, oh, and more people will die. And then he runs over and starts killing the guy or whatever. I just felt that there were too many Joker vibes with the Riddler, and the Riddler was kind of smeshing too much with the Joker. So it kind of felt like it was like the Riddler was trying to upstage the Joker's craziness, because the Riddler loves the cat and mouse, just as the Joker does. But the Joker also knows that he's the punchline, like he's the funny. And everyone else is just part of the gag. Whereas the Riddler wants the person to continue it.
All right, Joe.
I was willing to kind of excuse some of that though, just because we know that this is like an origin story for everybody, right? Not just for Bruce. It's also for Riddler, and maybe he hasn't grown into that person yet. One thing I really liked about the character was that he's inspired by Batman. Like he's, completely misguided and he's doing all the wrong things, but he's doing those things because he's seen this vigilante take things into his own hands, and maybe the answer is to do that. I thought that was an interesting way to do it, and having that as the motivation makes it easier to sort of digest some of the things that you're talking about, Matt.
Yeah, and I think that's why we needed a down-to-earth comic relief villain. Which brings us to the Penguin.
The best part of the movie! The best part of the movie!
This Penguin was so good. I won't even lie. I love this Penguin. This Penguin was he was cool, right? He had swag. To be like such an ugly son of a bitch, he had so much swag. He was definitely a guy that if you met him, you would want to hang out with him. And he's doing dirty, treacherous stuff, but he's just so damn cool. I want to hang out with this guy. That's what Penguin was to me.
Yeah, Colin Farrell, this has been said so many times for so many different reviews. Colin Farrell killed this role and was so unrecognizable in that makeup. That makeup looked phenomenal.
They better get an Oscar for his makeup.
I never thought once it was makeup. I just thought it was a guy. They just found a guy.
Yeah, there's actually an actor named Richard Kind that actually looks like that guy. He looks like Colin Farrell in the makeup, but that's how he really looks.
I forgot it was Colin Farrell. I forgot.
Yeah, everybody did. But I'm very glad
about masks.
I really appreciate the fact that I hate to make the comparison, but back in the Batman 66 days, the Penguin was more of an annoyance to Batman. So I like the fact that once again, this version of the Penguin was the annoyance to Pattinson's Batman.
Right.
I thought that was a really good take.
Yeah, this one line the Penguin says, I think it's in the club when he's talking to him, he's like, "Do you know my reputation?" Batman says, "Do you?" He's this Penguin is starting off as a joke, but he doesn't think he's a joke. And I believe that the Penguin miniseries or like spinoff show that we're gonna get on
I
HBO
cannot
Max,
wait.
that's gonna help us
That's gonna be
explore
fun.
his rise to power in Gotham City. I don't know if we'll see that in the Batman 2 or one of the next Batman movies, but we will in that show more than likely see that rise of power as the new crime boss in Gotham.
Yeah.
Spiller, you
I
look
feel
like you're
like-
skeeving right now. What are your thoughts on Penguin?
Oh.
Spiller, I'm calling you out. I want to know your
Oh,
opinion on
me?
Penguin.
I'm sorry, bro. I didn't even hear you. I was like, who's he talking to? No, dude, I loved it. I mean, I'm from Chicago. We know about crooked everything, right? Politicians, mobsters, like teachers that sell crack, whatever. So I love the character.
Teachers that sell crack. That's like Black Dynamite. It's just them taking the money and then just pulling their pants down and running away. Ha ha, I gave me the crack.
Those things just happen here. You know, it's just unfortunate what happened. I love the character.
But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community.
No, but I loved it. I loved the portrayal. I love just kind of how, you know, he's now set up to be the new boss and go on into whatever future movie we have. Like, I just loved. But I like Pest said, he just had a swag to him that was kind of cool. You know, even when Bruce Wayne shows up and he's introduced to him, he's kind of like, oh, this is the kid. Okay, cool. It was just like perfect.
It was amazing how he was able to like switch that charm from like when he was talking to Batman from when he was talking to Bruce Wayne. Like there were like two almost entirely separate people. It kind of felt like an uncle at a party or something to like, I should worry about you. Where's my wallet?
Also, when he was chained up, when they cuffed him, he was waddling like a penguin.
I love that.
Get
me out here! Get me out here!
Well, yo, before we transition, Yoko, Spiller, I want to know what you guys' thoughts on the Penguin. Whoever wants to go first, don't matter to me.
All right. I also forgot that it was Colin Farrell. Like, I was watching the movie, I was like, I know who this is, but like, who the heck is this? And like, he really became the character. I like that you see this early iteration where he's a more serious, like, figure, because I'll tie this to the way the Riddler's portrayed too. Because eventually, anyone who's ever read this, all these people end up in Arkham. Yeah. And kind of the arc of a lot of, in real life, you go to a mental facility, people end up more zany and worse because they get in there. And this gives him that foundation as the character can grow, that he's got to find a way. How's he going to get this army of people who dress up like or either are the Penguins or dress up as Penguins or however they end up doing it? How is he going to get people to follow him if he's a total joke to begin with? Right. And so many times we've seen him, that's how they portray him. So it's unbelievable. This gives it a little more of that clout. What I really enjoyed about it was that everyone, him especially, and everyone is kind of starstruck when they see Bruce Wayne. Right. But they're also kind of starstruck when they see Batman too. And like, he kind of has it. He's got more of a fondness. To me, I read it as more of a fondness for Batman, even though he's kind of like freaked out by him. But on the other hand, I think we saw enough of the schemer, and I didn't get that this dude was a threat to anybody. He just seemed like he had a good... Yeah, he had a good criminal enterprise. He was annoying, but he was still kind of a joke, and I was hoping for a little more grit, because when you go up to 11 with everyone else you meet, and then it's like an Penguin, though I think this is probably the best thing Colin Farrell ever did.
No, The Gentleman. But go ahead.
Okay, I'll give you that. But was this like a Penguin to actually match this movie? I'm not sure. But I think he's got the right like character arc for this. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see it. Unless it's DeVito, I just like write this character out and be like, fuck.
All right, hey Yoko, I want your thoughts on the Penguin, then we'll transition to Catwoman.
Yeah, Colin Farrell, to echo everyone's sentiments, he killed it, and it's like the best Robert De Niro impression I've seen in a movie. I guess. It's like he's totally Robert De Niro. He's like, I got you. I'm like, okay.
I
like,
got you.
It's so good, and I just love that he's like this zany kind of like boss who has this sense of humor,
to him. There's this one little scene where he's Batman showing the photos of Annika and the mayor, and he's like, "Who died?" And Batman's like, "The mayor's like the mayor." Oh shit, that is the mayor. I'm like, oh my god, you fucking guy. Like he really gets he really gets me, and just like, but he can turn from that like humorous side to him like wielding like an Uzi or whatever the hell that is. He's like, hey, vengeance, and is like shooting the car. I'm like, okay, this is awesome, and I think it's cool to have a more realistic Penguin, especially after DeVito, who is fun in his own way, but that's not really the Penguin how I
it's more
know.
like Killer Croc than Penguin.
Yeah, like he becomes like a weird like creature. I'm like, okay, like that's Tim Burton's sort of like indulging himself, but I like that version of the Penguin for what that character is.
Right.
But it's not the Penguin from the comics that I think we all know and love, and this is a lot closer to the Penguin. And I think the only other Penguin actor who got close was the one in Gotham. Probably.
Oh, yeah, Robin Wright.
Yeah. Robin Taylor.
Robin Taylor Wright or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize for not knowing your name, but but he got it pretty close, and I was like, okay, like this is a good interpretation of a young Penguin just starting out, like weak and sort of like conniving his way through into power. But this is Penguin, not fully realized yet. But he's like right up there, and I just
you
love.
were close to Robin Lord Taylor. That's who played him.
There we go, Robin Lord Taylor, and I just love that we end on him just looking over Gotham City, and the narration is saying that there is like a vacuum of power. So it's like, okay, so he's going to take over the Falcone operation. So that is neat, and I hope we see more of Penguin in the future.
Absolutely. All right, Jill, let's do a transition here.
All right, so now Miss Selena Kyle.
Okay, new Catwoman.
Maybe best Catwoman? Maybe?
I really liked her. Like, I feel like we can all agree, like, Michelle Pfeiffer is probably some of our favorite some of our favorite choices as Catwoman. I personally liked Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises. I know a lot of people didn't. I did. But Zoe Kravitz, I really liked her portrayal as Selena Kyle. Like,
I did too.
She was really good. She had that right combination of afraid, of angry, and confidence, like all mashed up in one. She mainly she had the confidence nailed down easily, and I enjoyed the chemistry between Kravitz and Pattinson. It was believable. And will we see her again? I would like to think so.
Spin-off. I think she gets a spin-off because I don't think she's gonna come back for the sequels. I think she's gone. She's like, I'm out of Gotham. Boom. I think we'll get a spin-off of her, whatever the hell she's doing now. That's just my.
I'd be down for a Catwoman solo movie, like ignoring Halle Berry for a second.
Like that one didn't happen.
See, wait a minute. No, I'm not gonna let y'all sit here and discredit my girl Halle Berry. No. I was very upset.
Everybody has a bad.
And no one said Halle Berry. Okay, I know the movie was bad, but there ain't no.
She did fine. It was just poor execution of the movie.
There ain't no better Catwoman than Halle Berry. Fight me, okay? There ain't no better Catwoman than Halle Berry. I said what I said.
All right, we're gonna have to fight though, because I do think that Zoe is the best Catwoman at this point. To me, she like embodied the character. I loved her physicality. I loved the performance. I love the choice of weapon. Right? Like
it's a chain whip instead of a regular whip.
Chain. I was like, yo, that's like if it was real world, that's like kind of what you would expect.
Yeah, when you watch this, and like I said, I like Halle Berry. I like her as an actress. But when you watched this, when you watched, obviously when the Catwoman movie was really bad. But when you watch that, you think that's Halle Berry. That's her. But when you watch this, I just thought Selena. I just thought I just thought Catwoman.
Not just that, but like Zoe Kravitz really looks like the new 52 Selena Kyle.
She does.
Like
down short haircut.
Yeah.
And also, Zoe Kravitz is tiny. Like standing next to Robert Pattinson, she is tiny.
Yeah, you could hear her neck crack every time she had to look up at him.
Don't worry, honey.
I mean, come on. She won the genetic lottery. She's got like two of the most gorgeous parents ever, and Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet. So,
yeah.
I mean,
What I like about Zoe Kravitz though is that she has this beauty and this fragility to her, but unlike Anne Hathaway, who I also like as Catwoman, I think Zoe Kravitz has like sort of like this edge to her of like she like she says it in the movie, she can't handle herself, and I think she has this veracity to her that I really enjoy, and I haven't seen that veracity since Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, and I think like Halle Berry again, I think she could have been great, and she is like a good choice for Catwoman, but in that movie I didn't feel that sense of veracity, that like that rawness to her, nor did I really feel that in Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, although she was like, I think she was fine, but this Catwoman just really tiptoed that line so well, and
yes,
and her theme is amazing. I love her theme.
Yo, how did you guys feel about her being the daughter of Falcone? Like
I thought that was a really interesting twist on the character, because I feel like when it comes to like Selena Kyle's parenting, now granted, I don't read a lot of the Batman comics, so ignore me if I'm saying
Fake
bad
nerd,
stuff.
fake nerd, kick him out!
Off this NerdCage chat.
But when it comes to like, the parentage of Selena Kyle, I feel like, oh, she had parents. But with this, it gave her a really interesting words. I can't speak. Into the story. Into the story, because like, yes, she would already be like integrated with Batman as is, but with her being tied to Falcone now, she's fully enwrapped in this entire spiraling storyline.
Yeah, I like that approach that they took with that. I
Yeah, all the villains, the Batman, or I should say, Penguin, Riddler, they were all tied together. I kind of like how it all, like, they were all, it wasn't just three separate stories. They all came together.
Yeah, exactly.
That was
Selena,
awesome.
Selena is Falcone's daughter in The Long Halloween, which they took a lot of this movie from.
Yeah.
So,
and it took place on Halloween, so.
It took place on Halloween, too, so.
Yeah.
I kind of knew that going in, so I was sort of like waiting, like, are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? And then she said it, I was like, all right, like, there it is, boom.
Yeah. Okay, so we're already
I will say this, Barbeau is the Catwoman for me, though, from the animated series.
Yeah.
Like, that's my favorite.
Okay, so
she is pretty cool.
We already touched on Alfred, so we'll skip that. So we'll make this next one real quick. Let's just talk Jim Gordon real quick, man. Jeffrey Wright. You know,
easily.
Felix, my man, Felix.
Wright is awesome.
Easily, he's now my favorite Gordon. Jeffrey Wright did a fantastic job in this role.
I would watch it. Like, the man can do no wrong, in my opinion.
He is such a good actor. Like, I love a lot of the work he does. But with Jim Gordon, I remember hearing this description of like, oh, he's a tired Gordon. He's like everybody else. He's an emo tired Gordon. No, not really. This Gordon, he's an experienced cop. He's been dealing and working with Batman for 2 years, and that's one thing I really liked in this movie. Gordon and Batman were working together on these movies. It wasn't just Gordon bringing in Batman and Batman doing the work. They were working together, and I love that. I love that dynamic between the two of them. And
the best interaction has to be right during the police interrogation, where they're all like interrogating Batman.
That is the best.
And he's like, "Get out! Everybody get out!" Like he has to like fake getting in his face.
Yeah, he's like,
punch me in the face.
Here's my keys. Punch the face. Go up to
Why
the
did you pull your punch? I did.
I did.
Joe Spiller, you were gonna say something, and we kind of rudely interrupted you. What were you gonna say?
Much like Will, I think this is like the ultimate Jim Gordon, but it's because of how he's played. In all other iterations, especially in movies, that I know we're supposed to like love Gary Oldman. A treasure of an actor, but for me, not like a good Gordon, because like all the other ones, why would Jim Gordon, this police officer, want to get involved with a vigilante who comes out of nowhere? And this time, he's so exasperated, beaten down, jaded by the system. It gives him a reason to be so invested in Batman existing. And just like the portrayal, like he never lets up this, I'm basically, well, I don't know, I'm gonna swear. I'm like, I'm over this.
It's okay,
shit.
you can.
I'm over this shit all day, so we're just gonna go this because like the system is not working, which I also loved about this, and I'll tie it into Selena Kyle a little bit. Her and Gordon are the ones that get this a little bit more to the real world, where everyone's so wrapped up into like this Gotham world. Gordon and Selena Kyle's character, like Selena Kyle's like rich old white man, and like she's tired of the patriarchy, and just like Gordon is like, look, there's a bunch of white dudes running this place, and I'm over that too, of the corruption. So like bringing that together in this movie, if you're gonna have a Batman that interacts with the cops, there's finally a believable reason how this would happen.
Very well
Right.
said. Absolutely well said.
And just one more thing about Commissioner Gordon before we move on. This is the only time that I can recall seeing a version of Gordon where he's like legitimately like getting involved in the action. Like, he and Batman are like solving the case together, going to specific crime scenes together, and actually like trying to take down these people together. Every other version is sort of, they meet on the rooftop and Gordon gives him some information, and then Batman acts on that information, and Gordon's kind of just like in the background. Here, he really steps up, and he's like actually an integral part of the crime fighting aspect of it.
Yeah,
I
love that part towards the end there. Exactly. I like that part. I like how he literally is always just like, like especially at the end where Batman's on top of the scaffolding fighting, and he looks over to one of the stage managers and goes, how the hell do I get up there? And he wants to get up there, and he wants to. I really loved how every time, and then he's like, where the fuck did Batman go? He went over there. He's like, I'm going.
Yeah, for me, the three scenes that really sell the duo as a pair is the scene in the prison after he wakes up, the scene where they went to the car and they find the literal thumb drive, and then when they're interrogating Penguin together. Like, those three scenes really sell, like, these two trust each other enough. They're a good pair working together. It's a great dynamic.
Yeah, they're Sherlock and Watson, basically.
Right.
Which is great.
All right, now listen, before we move on, I just want to check on Yoko real quick, because I know we're getting closer to, because we're flying through these, and it's getting late. So Yoko, how you feeling, man? Because if you need to bounce, let me know. If
No, I'm good. You're
good? Okay, I'm just checking before we move on, because we covered all the characters that we want to cover. So I figured now we can kind of like go through the movie itself. So, so Joe, go ahead. What we got?
We're gonna touch on the opening scene first.
Okay, so real quick, man, I like the fact that we get like Batman's been doing this 2 years. They said I like the fact that the criminals are kind of like looking around the corners, like, oh, is he there? Oh, okay, he ain't there. Let's, I kind of like that approach. That they're just checking to see if he's there or not, because they know he could be anywhere. He can't be everywhere at once, but he could be somewhere. That was a really cool dynamic that they threw right in the beginning of the movie.
And I think it was Josh Bates in the chat that kind of gave almost like a fan theory of the guys that are wearing the makeup. Are they tied to Joker or not?
Yeah, let's read that question, because it was early on in the chat. Let me see if I can find it just a minute.
Because I think Matt Reeves has disclosed, like, yes, Joker is established. He's already in Arkham. Batman and him have already met. So it wouldn't surprise me that this could be Joker's gang, his accomplices,
or they're inspired by him.
Inspired,
Here's what he wrote. So, spoiler question: the gang of bad guys who had their faces painted that Batman beat up in the beginning of the film, were they followers of the Joker?
I could very see that as possible, or especially since that one guy had it half. Yeah. Could these also be Two-Face followers if Two-Face is already established?
I took that as him being like
being initiated.
A rookie. Yeah, initiated.
Yeah.
Like the guy that was following
that probably
him
makes
around
the most sense.
Kind of had like a big brother mentality, or like at least a feel. Yeah. Where he was like kind of like guiding him around by the back of his noggin.
Yeah. Some people were saying that he might be Jason Todd. That kid. Yeah, that was a common theory of like that kid.
Interestingly enough, in the show Titans on HBO Max, he plays Tim Drake. So it was kind of weird see Tim Drake.
I was wondering if that was the same kid. Yeah.
Oh wow. Fun fact, real quick, because we just touched on Joker a little bit. I know we're kind of bouncing around the movie here, but there was a deleted scene where
he keeps talking about this.
Yes, the Batman had a Joker interrogation scene that was cut from the movie from like in Arkham. Personally, I think that was the right decision.
I agree.
I kind of feel Joker was unnecessary in this movie. That's just my opinion.
Right.
I could have
because the
I'm
Riddler
not
is the
I'm not
focus
mad
of
that
this
he was
one.
teased at the end, but I could have done without it. Like it wouldn't have changed my opinion of the movie, like better or worse if the Joker was or was not in it. But yeah, I'll
step on one piece there. If no one else noticed, except for half makeup guy, all of them had the smile painted on.
Yeah,
and that's like a little too much of a coincidence for it
Yeah.
not to be intentional.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
It reminds me a lot of like Dark Knight Returns, where like you had the Jokers, you know, that were just sort of either followers of his or like I don't remember what the aspect of it was, but the implication that I think exists in that film is that the Joker was out doing stuff already, and maybe this was his gang. You know, maybe these people were inspired by him, because there's a reason he's in Arkham now, right? They show him at the end. Yeah. So that's kind of what I took from it.
You know, like something that occurred, like now that you say that, because I didn't really put those two pieces together. I think it would be interesting to think then what exactly was Joker doing? Because these cats are just doing petty crimes, basically. Like they're not doing anything serious. They're walking around like knocking people out and videotaping it, like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, right? So it would be interesting to see what Joker's progression of being a criminal will be moving forward. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, I think that also adds to the concept of, you know, they're Joker's followers, because or just like people who are inspired by the Joker, because if they were part of Joker's crew, I mean, obviously, you know, they do the duel. What are we doing, boss? Like that kind of thing. Like, we need a leader, so I don't know what to do. But these guys, they just seem like punks. They just seem like they were inspired by the Joker, as opposed to being like part of his crew. Because if they were part of his crew, then obviously they'd be like, "Come on, guys, we still gotta rob."
I think real quick before we transition to the next scene, I'm gonna like beat the shit out of. But I think the whole theme of this movie is like all these rogues galleries, they have like internet followers. Like, for example, the Riddler has his followers on his social media. The Joker obviously has those Joker people. Like, I feel like these guys have like nothing to do with like they're these goons here. They just want to follow.
They just exist.
Yeah.
Can I interject on one thing before we transition?
Yes.
The footfall. How great was the boots? Like when
the fall. Gotcha. I thought you said football.
No,
that's what I
thought. Like just like when you just hear it, and it's like this almost like Jaws-like menace. No. You done fucked up.
That damn score. Think Mr. X was gonna pop out?
That was a fucking great fucking score. Okay,
so let me just say one more thing.
Yes.
So like since we're talking about the beginning, I have to talk about the narration in the beginning. To me, that made it feel like a comic. Like
I loved it. Yeah.
It put me into the movie much more than if it didn't exist, because now you have like the insight, like you actually get like a peek into like what's going on in Bruce's mind and like why he's doing what he's doing. So I just wanted to kind of mention that. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Did anyone else think?
Because he's... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, just did anyone else think Rorschach?
I immediately thought of Rorschach.
Yeah.
I was thinking like kind of like a detective noir movie. You know? Kind of like Sin City, you know? Dick Tracy. Just throw that out there. I mean, it's a detective story, so...
Yeah, and it adds to it. I mean, it sets up right from the get-go what it's about. It's about his trials and tribulations in his first couple years is like trying to navigate as Batman.
So and he's so unsure. Like, he's like, you know, am I making a difference? Am I doing the right thing?
Right.
Like, is vengeance the answer? Like, you know, in previous movies, we really don't get a whole lot of that. Like, we get like a guy who's confident in his like he's got his convictions as far as like, this is what I'm doing. Like, there's no question about it. In this, he's like, am I like wasting my time? Am I doing the right thing here? Like, I really like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And there's just a lot of just like simple storytelling things that they were able to do with that narration, and then like the visuals that match the narration too, of like the shadows and like seeing like the paint can rolling into that like open door with the like just there's so much of like simple filmmaking techniques that Matt Reeves does, but it's so effective. And especially even in the scene prior to the narration, but the Riddler scene when he kills the mayor, it's just such a simple setup, but the way Matt Reeves shoots it is so specific. And I do want to shout out Greg Fraser, who does the cinematography for this, who also did Dune. It's just like mind-blowing visual storytelling, and I can't help it. I had to mention the B movie.
However,
you had him up to that point.
Yoko hits on something beautiful and perfect. If you've never had the pleasure, so many of those opening scenes were Chicago, baby, and it was beautiful.
Absolutely. I was waiting for you to say that, Dion. Okay, so Joe, let's transition to the scene that really pissed me off, and I'm ready to tear an asshole.
Our next topic is probably the most controversial one in the entire movie, and that is the Gill Coulson funeral explosion.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay,
why is it controversial?
Okay, but listen.
Just wait.
I'll let Jay tell you why.
I had a problem with this movie. Just two fucking problems with that scene. This is what like took some points off the docket here for this movie. Okay, one, the bomb going off at point blank in Batman's face, and he's unscathed. Two, are we gonna believe that the Joker or the Riddler just sat there and let the phone ring while Bruce Wayne left, put his bat suit on, and comes there? Like, come the fuck on, guys! Like, that was so fucking stupid. I don't know why y'all let them get away with that. That was fucking so bad on so many levels. That entire scene made no sense whatsoever. And if I was there at a test screening, I could have saved this movie to make it better.
I pictured the Riddler just like sitting in the corner, like while he's doing it, just going, "Is Batman ghosting me?"
I mean, he kind of was, because like when he picks up the phone, he kind of like enters in like, "You came."
Yeah.
I mean, I will admit,
I like to imagine he was making top ramen.
There you are. Hey,
I'll admit, like live streaming as he's waiting.
Yeah. Did he really call that entire time, like while he was while he was waiting for Batman to answer? I'll give you that. But, like, I still thought it was a tense scene. Like, okay, will he successfully defuse the bomb? Is it gonna blow up? I know those are like very simple like outcomes, but at the same time, I didn't know which way it was gonna go.
It was very tense.
Like I said, the scene itself was fine.
Yeah.
But he could have at least shielded him from the explosion with his cape.
Or he should have ran away before when it was ticking down low. He should have just ran away. But no, he just stood there, been better. Bang, and then and they shine a flashlight in your face. Batman, are you okay? A bomb just went off in your face. Oh, I'm fine.
I mean, this is one of those rare moments where like Jay and I are like in perfect accord.
Yes!
Right? Because like I felt like, okay, he's got this headpiece that is most likely not.
It's probably
explosive
just
resistant.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And the bottom of his face is completely exposed. He's like less than 10 feet away from the bomb. He gets knocked back.
It's like in his
face is,
when that bomb goes off, he's like right there.
And welcome to Hollywood, baby.
Can we talk about this for 1 second, because you bring up his cowl, right? I've always wondered this. Why does no one shoot Batman in the teeth?
Yes. Yeah, I actually do.
No
they
one
actually do in this movie.
This man in the teeth. Please.
I have the answer for you. I have the answer. They looked down and they went, "Oh, it's not in the script."
Well, no. To Pat's point, though,
Batman's real superpower is his perfect teeth.
Well,
and the villains don't want to do anything about it.
I hate to jump to the end of the movie, but to tackle what Pat said, when Batman's hanging on the thing on Gotham Square Garden, the guy had the shotgun pointed at his head. He was going to.
Right at his face! Blackout! Roll the credits, movie over.
Since you did bring that up, I do have to say, since you did bring that up, he's hanging and the guy's got the shotgun. It literally and my friend Bill was with me watching it, and we were literally going, what is going on? Because I understand that they had to set the scene up for him to get saved, but the fact that he shot one round and he had another round and then he pulled out and then he replaced the round that he already shot, and it took forever, and then I get it, then he's just like, ha, and then they hit him in the back of the head or whatever. But I just thought that was hilarious that he didn't just use the other round. He actually opened the shotgun and replaced the one he already shot.
Right. I will say this. I remember when filming began, and I think that was part of the 25% that was shown during fandom that year. I remember hearing those leaks going around, there's gonna be an explosion in a church, and when that happens, that Batsuit's gonna get destroyed, and we're gonna get an even more comic accurate version Batsuit. Of course, that didn't happen in the movie.
Yeah, I was
it lends to a lot of this stuff. Can you even trust leaks nowadays when it comes to stuff like that? Yes.
No. Yeah.
If this is a PA that's there for one day and sees this and writes it all down.
I wouldn't even trust a PA, to be be honest.
It could be a prank too,
yeah.
Because it's I know the secrets. I'm gonna tell false secrets because I know the real secrets. But most superhero movie leaks don't end up being true. So it's really hit or miss.
Yeah.
A lot of it is studio misdirect too, right?
That too.
They want you to think a certain way, and then they want your expectations to be subverted when you see the movie. So
I think this was one of those cases.
It's all tactics.
Fake spoilers.
Okay.
Although there definitely are some plot holes in the movie. I mean, you got the fact where Riddler at the end, he'll sit there and he'll say, well, you're the brains of the operation. I don't do anything physical. I was like, dude, you just beat a guy over the head in the beginning of the movie. Bro,
and he parked all those vans by the ocean walls. One more nitpick too. Joe just mentioned a nitpick. Why is it that Robert Pattinson's able to carry his Batman suit in a backpack? That's Spider-Man shit. You can't carry that armored suit in a backpack and quickly get. That made no sense either. What the?
No,
fuck?
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense, and you know why?
Why?
He's Batman.
First of all, not only that he's carrying the damn thing, but you should expect us to believe that the entire suit fits in that little ass backpack. Whatever. I'll let it slide.
I assumed he was wearing pieces of it.
Yeah. I thought he was wearing it.
Yeah, because see it under his jacket.
Yeah.
Parts of it.
He wasn't.
And he's wearing a huge
size. He was
hoodie.
Batman sized.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that Bulma actually makes Batman's suit, and it comes in one of those little capsules, and that's how he captures it.
But where's Lucius Fox? There's no Lucius Fox.
That's right. She's I gotta set up camp. Click.
Okay, Joe, transition to the scene that we all got to talk about.
Next is my favorite scene in the entire movie is the Batmobile intro and chase scene.
Oh, holy shitballs, that Batmobile.
Listen, I love the Batmobile in this movie. I said it earlier. I love the Batmobile because it was practical, okay?
Yes.
I could see some crazy asshole building this damn car, okay? With some crazy jet engine on it. It didn't have all the crazy, all the crazy bells and whistles because this is a early Batman car. He found it at the junkyard. He put this shit together, right? I love that Batmobile. And when that Batmobile flies through the fire and lands,
epic.
Dude, everybody in the theater clapped.
Also, that was a practical effect. That was a real effect.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah, the entire chase was practical, apparently.
That was great. That was it was so great.
And Pest, if you read the prequel graphic novel or the prequel novel, whatever, apparently Bruce has been building that car since he was 16.
Right.
Really?
Wow. I like that in different points in the film they show it in different stages. Like in the beginning, you just see the engine. I like that they show him not necessarily working on it or whatever, but they show it's in progress, and he doesn't have it right away. He's riding the motorcycle everywhere. Right, so.
Yeah, I saw this in IMAX for that Tuesday fan screening. And that when you hear you hear that Batmobile scream, and then you hear and feel that engine turn over. I felt that entire sequence in my chest.
Sound effects department, 10 out of 10.
I want to see this again in Dolby because I want to feel my chest shake again.
I saw it in Dolby, and it is the most epic thing. And when when it cuts back to the car and that theme song kicks, it's insane. I love the sound design in this, and I just love how it's a super tense moment where you think Batman's on the floor because he just got shot, and then Penguin turns, he's not there, and then it cuts back, and then you see the engine turn on. It's just flawless filmmaking, and
it's
again,
so good.
the practicalness of it is
And
great.
I didn't know this until yesterday. Apparently, Matt Reeves took a lot of inspiration for the Batmobile from Christine. And thinking back over that, you can see that, this is a monster car. This isn't a Batmobile. This is a monster car.
Yeah, he was talking about
and then when Christine's first monster car, it's just the headlights pop on out of the dark. And when he revs the engine, and as far as storytelling in the car itself, some of the a kid spray painting is scared of Batman in the shadows. The bigger bosses, when he walks in the club, they're like, oh, it's that Batman guy, whatever. That car is why he's menacing. It's when he becomes the thing that the bigger, badder guys are scared of. And I saw it in Dolby. It was, the whole place was shaking once he revved that engine.
The only thing stronger than family is the Batmobile.
Oh my God.
And what's stronger than that is Vin Diesel in the Batmobile.
Oh, you know what? Derek, just for that, you deserve a little, Joe from Fall 1 Gaming, before we transition to, ending and wrap our thoughts up, but Joe from Fall 1 Gaming, you saw it in 4DX on Saturday. Please describe to everybody that Batmobile scene in 4DX, dude.
Oh, boy. Well, my back hurt after it. I mean, if you don't know what a car crash is like, that's probably the closest you're gonna.
Oh my God!
What do they do? They actually bring an actual engine into the theater and put it up to your ear.
Your back, you got the seats going all over the place, the wind effects, everything was there. The only thing that sucked about the 4DX is that I don't know if I was sitting in the wrong spot or if the water just wasn't on, but there were no water effects where I was sitting. But everything else was there. So I mean, it was an experience.
It does rain a lot in that movie, so it'd be crazy if it was spraying
I think I was
water.
just sitting in the wrong spot. I don't know.
Joe just walks in with a bottle of shampoo and a towel.
Man, you got the real experience. You got the real one. I must have gotten the behind the dumpster treatment, because the one that I went to, it literally was just a guy in the front doing a Christian Bale impression. I'm Batman. It's this isn't the movie.
Hey, this guy is a maniac, yo. I just met this guy tonight. He's a maniac, yo. I've gotta follow him on every platform.
Look at that mug, though. Everybody on your screen right now, look at that mug. Does that look like a mug of a guy that has somebody in his basement, or the nicest guy in the world, is what Pest said earlier?
A little bit of both.
Yeah,
it's both.
This city is full of people ready to believe.
No, it's too good though. Stop it.
My God, man.
Oh God! Somebody lock us up in Arkham, yo.
I'm already there.
All right. So I guess we can go for one quick hot topic before we wrap it up here. I think we kind of already touched on it. The ending. I mean, okay. It was cool but unnecessary, in my opinion.
I've heard a lot of people say they feel like the third act came out of nowhere. I mean, I can see the complaint, I can see the observation, but to me, it was building towards that. It was building towards Riddler's larger plan that wasn't just murdering the big heads of Gotham. And I liked it. I thought it was really cool seeing Batman kicking all sorts of Riddler phony ass on top of that scaffolding. I thought that was really awesome. Especially when he's beating the ever-loving shit out of that one dude. That was awesome.
And they do set up the seawall in the first scene with the Riddler in the mayor's house. In the news clip, he's talking about the seawall.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, like you're setting that up for the finale. I'm like, okay, that's a neat note.
Chris, I saw you raise your hand earlier.
Allow me to become the villain.
All right, do it. Rage in the cage. Do it.
So I said initially that that the movie is not bad, but I'm not happy. And here's why I'm not happy. Okay, this movie could have used about 30 to 40 less minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
In the last 20 minutes of this movie, the damn thing could have ended 5 times. There were like 5 different spots in the last 20 minutes of this movie that I was just like, this is the end. Oh shit, it's not. Oh, this is the end. Oh shit, it's not. This is it right here. We can leave. Like it was bad. And the fact of the matter is this. Yeah. I know that there is an end credit scene, okay? I know there is one. I did not see it because as soon as that first credit rolled, I looked over at the Korean and I said, let's get the fuck out of here. Like 3 hours. 3 hours was just too long. And I know I believe it was Yoko that said like bringing back 3-hour movies. No, let's not do that ever again, okay?
I have a retort. For that.
It's too long, especially for a movie like this. Like if it's an action-packed 3 hours of just mind-numbing drivel with people getting their faces blown off, maybe I'll sit there for 3 hours. But a noir detective movie, a 3-hour noir detective movie?
It's actually 2 hours and 55 minutes.
No.
Come with the technicality. I love it. Thank you.
No,
thank you. I will say for the post credit scene, it wasn't really a scene. All it was the Riddler on his laptop and it typed out goodbye.
He just forgot to log out.
Rumor has it.
It leads to that Rata Alada website that you can actually solve riddles on, which is really cool.
It's a whole ARG.
There's a rumor. There's rumors going around saying that this is gonna be a Riddler-focused trilogy. So when you see goodbye question mark.
No.
I think I'm just throwing it. I'm just speaking into existence. I think we're getting
I wouldn't handle that, but Matt Reeves has been out saying he would love to see Mr. Freeze in the sequel, and I would love to see.
And they want to do Court of Owls too.
I would.
Court
of Owls.
That would have been
dinosaurs. The Ice Age.
I do want to just counter the runtime thought. I prefer long movies. And I think the longer they are, I think the better characterizations you get. And I feel like the longer the movie went on, I felt more for the characters. And I think recently they played The Godfather back in Dolby, I believe last week.
Yeah, it was like a week or two ago. Yeah.
It was a week or two ago. And that movie is about the same length as The Batman. I think it's like 5 minutes shy from 3 hours. And I don't know. Maybe I grew up on long movies, and I think the problem is that long movies are not that we have to not that every movie has to be a long movie, because some movies can be short, and I think a tight 90-minute movies, those are also lacking in the industry. So I feel like the industry is focusing on that 2.5 hour movie a bit too much, I feel like. And I think the art of the short movie and the long movie is sort of dying out, and I feel like because of that, the attention span for these blockbuster movies are getting shorter and shorter. So I do appreciate when a long movie comes out and is a box office success like Batman, because it does give me hope for longer movies in the future, because I feel like if you only constrain blockbusters or films in general to a certain runtime, it loses a certain magic to it.
And we saw that with Superman versus Batman, or Batman versus Superman.
Right. Yeah. Because they were cutting it down for more theater runtimes, and that the half hour they cut of that movie was super integral to the plot of that movie.
Right. I'm a long movie. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
And just I think like even the Snyder Cut, it proves that a 4-hour movie can work if the material is right enough. So,
I still haven't seen it, and I still haven't watched it.
Oh, come on, Pest! I've been pulling your leg. I've been pulling your leg for months. I've been pulling your leg for months. You still haven't seen it yet? Come on, Pest.
It's too wrong. I don't want to do it. Okay.
So Yoko,
I think people need to work
how
on.
good it is. It's too fucking long.
I think people need to work on their attention spans, because if we keep doing the TikTok shit, we're literally going to get to a point where it's just going to be, the Riddler going, riddle me this. What's 2 + 2? I think it's fish. You're right.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Yoko. Do you think that like the intermission within theaters should make a comeback? Because back when like you cited The Godfather, like back when The Godfather came out in the early 70s, it was a common thing for there to be an intermission halfway through where people could get up, use the bathroom, get popcorn or whatever, and then come back and see the second half of it. We don't have that now.
I love intermissions, and the art of the intermission, I think it is a lost art. And they did a charity IMAX screening for the Snyder Cut, and I was able to get tickets for that. And for the intermission, they were playing the score for the movie for 15 minutes. That experience is so integral for me as an audience member, just to sit in the theater and have the title card intermission just on the screen and just playing a score. I think that like really envelops you in the picture and in the mood of the movie. And if a movie's too long, I have a small bladder. Like for Batman, I couldn't drink for 3 hours prior to the movie. I had to starve myself of any food and water or anything. So I am 100% on board for intermissions. I personally love them.
Yeah, that can be a nuisance.
It'll be cool.
Especially
when
you
you
just
sit
want
down
to
during the
enjoy
intermission and talk about the movie among everybody while you're sitting down.
Yeah, that's a fun experience. Yeah, just being like, hey,
I agree.
What'd you think?
I agree with Mark and Yoko that we could, having intermissions for, movies that are 3 hours long, I think should, they should look. The industry should look into it. I'll leave that.
Well, it's because it's paying homage to how things used to be, where people. It used to, when you went to the theater, it was an event. You went and you got the whole thing, and that's what it's basically doing. But it's like but it's transitioning it to the big screen, and you're seeing like 10 times crazier stuff going on like that. Like it's supposed to be an experience. That's why I get, especially with the pandemic, but before that too, people, complaining about paying so much for like a ticket and stuff like that. I get overhead and I get all that kind of stuff too, but if they still kind of kept like a median where you didn't pay as much, but to get like a good experience, I think more people would get into that. But it's such a weird, we're in such a weird transitional period where more and more people would just like sit in their own home theater. Like I get that concept, but I still like going to the theater, just like when doing voiceover and stuff like that. Yeah, I can do it here remotely, but I still want to go into the studio. I still want to record and interact with people. And I really think that the interaction part of that, like the intermission coming and then turn into the person next to you and going, oh, what do you think? You think the penguin's gonna, like fart and then all of a sudden the stuff's gonna blow up? Yeah, I don't know, dude. Oh, but I gotta take a piss first. Hold on.
That's the big mystery. Is the penguin gonna fart? That's the big mystery.
So,
you get what I'm saying.
It's 45 minutes past the hour. We definitely went longer than we planned on. But any thoughts on the ending, or can we just go ahead and wrap this up? Anything else before we wrap it up?
The ending was awesome.
I disagree. Awesome. Let me talk about the ending just briefly. So, the overall execution of the ending, like with the flooding and everything like that, and all the action that went with it, great. I mean, I enjoyed it, but when I got out of the theater and I kind of had time to marinate on it, the whole thing was kind of not the Joker's MO. I mean, the Joker. I'm sorry,
the Riddler's. Yes, I agree with you completely, Mark.
Yeah, his whole thing throughout the movie was like punishing the corrupt, but in this, he's like, well, screw it. Well, let's just flood Gotham and kill everybody. Well, why didn't you
the non-corrupt mayor?
I think I can answer that. The reason he did this is to bring all the people in Gotham into one place and show them that the real evil isn't him, it's the general public, because the people are who dressed up as Riddler and started shooting everybody. So he wanted to unmask that the people themselves are their own enemies.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Look at Joe getting deep.
That's right. Tell him, Joe.
Joe, fall one game and bring in the
over. Joe won.
Okay, that deserves it. Hold on.
Wow.
I thought it was a message about the collective, and it was like against the collective, and that's what he was fighting like against was like the collectivism mindset, and that was sort of why he was
turning their blind eye.
Yeah, and it's sort of that idea. And once I saw the flood, it reminded me of a line in Taxi Driver where Travis Bickle says, "I just want all the scum to wash away." And I sort of thought about that line with the Riddler, where I think he not only sees the corrupt politicians as corrupt, but the city itself as a corrupt, like disgusting cesspool of a place, and he wants to just cleanse it of its evil.
He did mention that, when he was talking to Batman. He did mention that about like the scum and everything like that, if I remember correctly.
Right. And just real quick about the ending, I really have to shout out to Matt Reeves for the scene when after Batman's in the water, he lights the flare and he's like leading the people into safety.
It's such a beautiful
love.
I did like that symbolism. I did like that a lot because the public was finally like trusting the Batman.
And I like that.
And there was a transformation for him too, right? Because his whole thing was about like vengeance and executing vengeance. And in that particular moment, he saw like, well, I can actually be a beacon of hope, and like I can actually turn this around and make be a better
hero.
version of this.
Be a hero, not just an Avenger, a hero.
Yeah, that kid was the one who first reached for him, and then it was the newly elected mayor, and then everybody one by one was like following him, literally following him into the light.
Yeah, and I think, sorry,
no, go.
I think just like, not to get like too into it, but like, especially in what's happening in the world right now. When I saw that scene, I was like, this is exactly what I needed personally in a time when it feels like there isn't a lot of hope. I saw that moment and I was like, fuck, like this is exactly what I needed to see at the movies. And I thought it was such a beautiful scene. And like the fact that all the sound kind of like cuts out and it's just Michael Giacchino's score is just, I thought it was beautiful filmmaking. And then it just fades into something in the way and the final narration. I thought that was a beautiful, send off to Batman.
Yeah.
So, Mark, you guys both hit on when I said I thought it was awesome. I felt this was about the maturity, right? The issues that we saw at the beginning are now being resolved, right? As far as the character goes, right? Yeah. And there was that moment, very brief, where at one point, I can't remember exactly what point in the movie it was, where he hears someone mirror back to him, I'm vengeance. And he looked after he was beating the shit out of that Riddler guy. He had this like moment, he looked like, and you could see he was shaken by it, right? He's like, oh no, like this is what I've done. Right now, this becomes a city of vengeance. And so this is now that maturity. He's like, okay, I have to be something more. I have to be better. Because if not, then the city just devolves. And so, and I just loved how that just came together in these scenes. And so that's why I thought this ending was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and on here, Josh Bates has an interesting take. He asks about the adrenaline shot that Batman uses. He's wondering if that's a prototype version of Bane's venom.
I've been hearing a lot.
That's what it was green.
For some reason. Yes, it was green. Like, I think like a lot of people saying, "Oh, the adrenaline is normally just clear." I'm like, okay, I think this is just adrenaline. However, in the prequel like novel, it said that Bruce Wayne likes to mix around with chemicals. Now, this could probably be like an advanced adrenaline, and maybe later on, or like maybe in this new Arkham/Gotham PD show, then the actual Bane will get his hands on it, tinker with it more, and become the hulking monster thatAne is.
It's like a
guys. We know what this really is, though, right? It's Ecto Cooler.
I think Ecto Cooler would make any man.
Pattinson's a '90s baby. Pattinson's a millennial. He's Ecto.
Distilled Mountain Dew.
Or like, I thought you were gonna say
concentrated Mountain Dew.
I thought you were gonna say it was like the ooze from TGI or something. Like that's what I thought. That's what I thought you were going. The secret of the ooze.
Oh yeah.
All right. To give one last comment about the ending. I remember hearing months before, like during the early filming days, either like Johnny Depp or somebody else was gonna be playing the Joker. And
heard about Johnny Depp,
and like weeks ago, we started hearing, Barry Keoghan was gonna be playing the Joker.
And then Eternals,
yeah, and then seeing it on screen, I'm like, okay, not bad. Like the voice itself isn't bad, the dialogue isn't bad. For me personally, needs to work on that laugh. It's not there. Now, granted, this has been described as a proto Joker.
When they started hinting at Joker, my first initial reaction, and I might be alone on this, was just, God damn it.
No, it seems like a lot of people don't want the Joker either. They don't want the Joker period, or they don't want the Joker yet. And Matt Reeves has said Joker will not be the villain in the next Batman movie.
Yeah,
Which
right.
I could see him.
I feel like Batman has so many more interesting villains and so many other interesting stories to tell with those villains.
Yes, I agree.
I told Jay while we were in the theater, I was like, they could have screwed this movie up in one way. All they would have had to do is cut the movie to black at the end and go, a freeze is coming.
Winter is coming. Like, oh shit, Jon Snow over here.
The Batman in the North. The Batman in the North.
I'm hoping that the Joker is just a character that we constantly see in the background. Like every time someone goes to Arkham, there he is.
I have a feeling that's what they're doing.
I'm hoping that's what happens. Yeah.
Like
he'll
if
be
he's
like
not doing Gangnam Style in the background, I'm gonna be pissed.
I don't mind them building up
like
a
the Nick
Joker.
Fury
They
of
can build up
villains.
a Joker across several movies. I'm fine with
build
that.
him up to be like an Endgame style
Yes,
villain.
thank you.
I think
that's
it'd be
the
cool
plan.
if they did exactly that, where like Batman goes to the museum or something and stop so-and-so. But so-and-so is like, I was gonna grab this thing, but it's already been taken. And like, they're like little pockmarks that don't really make a hell of a lot of sense until the last movie. And you see the thing that got taken and like Joker's been like, I've been making this plan all along. And you kind of see his progression and how he worked in the background, never being seen up until the last movie.
I was also thinking about a way where they might pull like a Red Dragon thing where he goes to Joker for counsel.
That was the deleted
That was the deleted scene.
That was the deleted scene, right?
That was the
I'm
deleted
thinking
scene.
that might be like something we'll see more of in the sequel. That's my guess. And then he might break out.
That sounds a lot like the plot point in Titans, where like Robin
Scarecrow.
goes to Scarecrow for counsel, and that
Gets
unfolds
advice
that way.
and hints and all that good stuff. All right, so Joe, let's transition to the end here. So I want everybody in the circle. We'll go in the circle. Give your closing thoughts, a rating 1 through 10, and you can kind of say how you compare this to like other Batman films or other comic book films and all that good stuff, and then plug yourself in one last time. So, Pastianos, we'll start with you, man. Go ahead. I know you're ready to ruffle some feathers up. So,
All right, so final thoughts on this movie. Like I said, the movie was cool. Okay, I don't think the movie was bad per se. The movie was cool, looked great. I got a lot of what I wanted from Batman. I personally thought this movie could have been about 30 to 40 minutes shorter. There was probably a 5 to 10 minute portion of the movie in each act that could have been removed, and I don't think we would have lost anything. But I think this movie was above average. I think if I'm gonna give this movie a number rating, I think I'll probably give it a 6.5. Not bad, but not amazing. Too long. I hope that the next Batman movie that they do here is not 3 hours. That's not a good look. So that's how I feel.
Okay, how about 2 hours and 50 minutes then? We'll do it that way.
I was in that movie theater for like 3 hours and 15 minutes. Okay? I don't want to hear it.
And whatnot.
All right. Oh yeah, and go ahead. Where can everybody find you? And links are in the description, by the way.
Oh yeah, everybody can find me on YouTube at PTA Sports.
Subscribe.
On Twitch at PTA Sports. On Twitter at Pestilence, PESTALANCE. Same thing with Instagram. I'm not doing a whole lot of content right now, but that is changing. I've been welcome to a couple of groups. One side on sports, the other side on Twitch. So I'm very excited to get some things going here in the very near future. So yeah, that's how you can find me. I appreciate y'all letting me be here, man.
We hope to see you in a couple weeks with Miss
thanks
Vegas.
for being here.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. All right, Derek, bonus commentary. Go ahead, rate the movie, general thoughts, comparing it, and wherever we can find you.
I did really enjoy the movie. I thought there were a lot of fantastic aspects, but I agree that while I do love a longer form film, it did feel was kind of reminded that I was still in the movie theater from time to time. Oh yeah, that's right. This is still going. I also thought that the Selena Kyle Batman chemistry, apparently I'm alone on this, just didn't work. I didn't think that they worked very well. It felt like it came out of nowhere. Yeah, you know? And, I do think that this is a great Batman. Pattinson needs to work on his Bruce Wayne. But it's well worth your time and money. I give it an 8 out of 10.
All right, very well said. WilldBand, take it away, man.
All right, I thoroughly enjoy this movie. I will be seeing it again. Pattinson, Affleck is still my favorite Batman, but I think Pattinson will take the number 2 spot. I love this Batmobile. I love this Catwoman. I love this Penguin, and I love this Riddler. I have the tiniest bit of nitpicks, but that really does not take away from me really enjoying this movie. So, number rating, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. A letter rating, I'm giving this an A-. And I hope we don't have to wait too long for all these new like pieces of media that are coming from this Batman world. So I'm looking forward to see what Matt Reeves has up his sleeve for this new story of Batman.
Oh yeah, and where can everybody find you?
And you can find me here on YouTube, WilldBand with 2 L's. I'm currently reacting with my buddy Brian to Batman the Animated Series, and we're closing out Evangelion the franchise with the final 5 films. I'm currently playing Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Look Security Breach with my buddy Charles on Fridays here on YouTube. I have a Twitch, WildGamer23, but I don't really go on there much anymore. I have Instagram, Twitter, WilldBand, and TikTok. I am WildBand24. I try and post content like once a week on there. I'm just a guy here on the internet trying to have as much fun as he can.
Oh, I'm sorry, Derek. Where can they find you too? I forgot to go ahead and plug.
That's on me. You can find me on YouTube as bonus commentary, and you can find me on Twitch as I am the one who nerds, all one word. Yes, I realize my username is a sentence.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
Yoko Higuchi, filmmaker, Resistance Films, Z-Movie Podcast. Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, I really love this movie, and I think it delivered everything that I thought it would deliver, and then some. I took a lot of notes for my future film projects. There are some things in this that I will definitely use as inspiration for some future things. I have a project that I'm sort of working on, and that I definitely will take some of this into consideration. And again, I love this cast. I think Ben Affleck is still my favorite Batman. He can't be beat. I feel like he just leaps off the comic book pages. But Pattinson, I love that he is a very different version of the Batman that we haven't seen before. It's very unique, and I think that's the best thing about this movie and this world is that it is unique. Yeah. It's not like anything that we've seen before in Batman's history or in comic book film history. And I think this is one of those movies, much like Logan or Dark Knight or BVS, that sort of take a lot of the notions that we have of these movies and sort of flips them on our heads. And I adore the Batman. I think it's great. I've loved Matt Reeves ever since Cloverfield. And
same here.
Yeah, and every movie he's done since, it just keeps getting better and better and better. And I think this might even be his best film. It might be. Yeah, it might be his best film. I think even with his Apes films, which are, I love his Apes movies. But in terms of the craftsmanship, the cinematography, the production design, the music, the acting, the casting choices as well, just everything across the board, I love. And not to forget social media. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Yoko Higuchi. You can find my short films at the Resistance Pictures on YouTube. And yeah, that's about it.
And what did you give the movie? I'm sorry, did you give a movie rating 1 through 10?
Oh shit, I would give it like a 9 or 9.5.
Okay, very good, very good. And Joseph Spiller, take it away, my friend.
Okay, I'll hit you with the good first. Of all Batman movies, which excludes 89. 89's untouchable. We can't compare anything to it because we're not in that era of making movies anymore, that type of movie. So that aside, this is probably my favorite Batman movie to date. Much like has been discussed here, though I hate the Snyderverse and all of those movies, like Affleck is Batman. Like he's Batman and he is definitively Bruce Wayne.
Woo!
But this movie, the cinematography is amazing. We didn't have really have space to talk about it, but like the choreography in this movie is actually incredible.
Yeah.
Very
the
good.
Styling is incredible. The look of the Batmobile, the look of the Bat Cycle, can we call it that yet? The gadget, he's got a couple of knives just hanging out on his chest. Like all of this is mwah. And that parts of the suits are literally just Kevlar coated stuff. He got it like the shoulder pads. He went to like Dick's Sporting Goods or whatever and just bought this stuff and put it together. That's perfect for what it is. I want to love this movie all over. I think that everyone except for Batman is like the penultimate version of these characters. However, I think Pattinson is the weakest link in this whole thing.
Woo!
Yeah, I think he stinks it out of the building.
Around 7th Boulevard.
It's just
These hot takes are keeping me warm.
I think that everyone around him is so good that like they literally could have put almost anyone in that suit and done those monologues, which serve the purpose of showing a Bruce Wayne, like a person. He's not Bruce Wayne anymore. He's trying to figure out who Bruce Wayne is. He more identifies with the Batman, and you kind of see that with his narration and how it changes over the movies. But Pattinson,
Bruce Wayne.
You could have been. anyone in here could have been.
Anyone can hide under the couch.
and I'm in the minority here. I felt like the score sounded like it was written by someone who wrote their first song. I thought it was terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a hot take.
I agree with the first half of it, but then when they started actually having like his theme and the original score, then I started liking it. But in the beginning, I didn't really like the choices.
And I thought I was going to be a villain tonight. Damn. Okay.
But ultimately, in this, I'll stand by. This is probably the best iteration of Batman for the modern era, and couldn't have asked for better. They could just recast Batman.
1 through 10, what would you give it?
I will give it a 7.
Okay, that is fair. I'm not gonna knock that.
7.
And Joseph, you got any like projects or anything you want to promote real quick while you got the floor?
So I don't care if anybody follows me. It's whatever. I mixed and mastered some records for Seven Sons and Hivalik Chaos. I got a new caricature record coming out, new Bionatops record coming out, which is my own stuff. For academics, you can follow me on JSTOR, Joseph Spiller, University of Maine, if you want to read about sociology and the structural and cultural barriers to having shellfish harvesters of the Down East region of Maine and all that fun stuff, which you probably won't. But overall, I'll be real with y'all. I'm not going to over politicize anything, but share a little money for the people of Ukraine. Whatever you align with.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Send money out. Don't follow me. Send money over and help these people, and I'll leave it with that.
Amen.
All right, very well said, Joseph. We really appreciate you coming on, taking time off your very busy schedule to be here. Thank you so much, and we can't wait to have you back on.
I'm ready to do it again. I'm going after I get off here. I'm going right back to work. So
awesome. All right. Thanks so much. All right, Dion McGill off the Beaten podcast, man. General thoughts of the movie, closing thoughts, rating, and where they can find you.
What am I supposed to say after that? Like, have a good night, everybody. You know what? I really like this movie. Like the first thing I did, I Facebooked, like I was like just how much I really enjoyed it. Like we have a Batman that's hanging out with Superman and doing all those things. Like, I really like how grounded this is. And that's kind of like, everyone's kind of said the car, just, you know, the suit, just kind of everything about it. And even the personality, right? Someone who's like becoming someone new, right? Through force and just, you know, finding that out. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. My biggest like worry about the movie, or just the thing, I was like, I just don't want to see no motherfuckers running down the street in capes now, like they can do some shit like this, because that's like how it felt to be like, oh no. I was like, well, that kind of stuff happens, right? Let's just be real.
It actually does. There are actually people that dress up in like combat gear, running around their shady neighborhoods, and
like Kick-Ass.
And are known to get the shit out of them. And no one's gonna say
that. Like, that was like one of my, I was just like, man, because it felt so grounded, right? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it's always a pleasure to sit with you cats, because you guys know so much more than I do. And so it's always just great to kind of drink it in and such. I will agree. I think Ben Affleck is still, like, to me, the best. Best Batman. Like, yeah, I would say with that. And I would give the movie I'm gonna say 8. Like, I was thinking between 7 and 8, so I'm gonna say 8 because I really enjoyed it. When I walked out, I was like, oh, that was great. I loved it. So yes. And as for Off the Beaten Podcast, just Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I took winter off completely, so it's gonna be really interesting. I drop a new episode the first March 20th. So
coming out of hibernation, man. We can't wait.
Yeah, so I'm excited. It's so weird. And for you guys who are creators, like, just taking 3 months off and just being like, I ain't doing shit. So it'd be cool. So yeah,
that's me right now. That's me right now. The same thing. I was like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just chilling for a little bit. So
Plus, you were busy fucking Paris.
I was busy in Paris. Yeah, I got a fellowship and all kind of bullcorn going on. So yes, so check it out. I would appreciate it. And yeah, man, always a pleasure to be with you cats.
Thanks
so
so much, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, man,
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Matthew Farden, the voice of NerdCage Live, take it away.
All right, so yeah, my final thoughts. Like I said, it had some problems for me. I understood the direction. I respected it. It was definitely a different take, and I really did like that. If a friend of mine wanted to, like, if one of my friends didn't see the movie and they wanted me to go see it with them, I would see it again. Probably not a movie that I would continuously like re-binge. But yeah, no, minus, Pattinson played a great Batman. Bruce Wayne, definitely there's room for improvement. First off, I really think that they need to snip his hair and make him look more like the millionaire playboy guy instead of like emo Bruce Wayne. But besides that, I thought he did great. The supporting cast was fantastic. It was really enjoyable. I would give it a solid 7. I would definitely give it a 7, and I leave it open to interpretation. Let's see what the next movie is. Let's see how that goes, and then who knows? Maybe I'll have like a higher score for it down the road. But I would say I'd give it a solid 7. So, and just like what Dion was saying too, fantastic, talking about this with you guys again, and also meeting new cats on here. I really appreciate being part of the discussion. You can find me Instagram at Matthew Farden. And if you go to my website, MatthewFarden.com, you can basically see everything that that I've been in, what I've done, and also if you need a voice actor for any projects, my contact info is on there too.
Links are in the description.
Voice
in fact, the links
hire.
in every description of every video, MatthewFarden.com, because of all of his good work. So yes, please check him out if you need a fantastic voice actor that can pretty much impersonate anybody, including me and Mark and Joe Pesci and Joker and so on and so forth and so on and so forth.
Shucks, Jay. I'm just the janitor, but I'm happy to be here.
All right, Mark Withers. Closing thoughts on the Batman. What would you rate it and all that?
Well, as you know, you and I and Joe did a rapid review on this movie that we just dropped on TikTok earlier today.
Oh wow!
In that, I gave this an 8 out of 10. This movie gave me pretty much everything that I wanted. A fresh take on Batman, really engaging, captivating origin stories for the central characters, a lot of action, a lot of, a good mystery, fantastic performances all around. The weak link, I agree with Joe Spiller. The weak link here is Robert Pattinson, particularly in his Bruce Wayne mode. Not quite as interesting as when he has the cape and cowl on. In that aspect, I think that he was fantastic. I also agree with pretty much everybody on the panel. Ben Affleck is Batman, and I want to see him as Batman again.
Hey, The Flash.
But that said, right, yeah, we have him in The Flash. We got him one last time.
Yeah.
Right. But, with all that said, again, 8 out of 10, I really did enjoy this movie, and I look forward to seeing the next installment. I think Matt Reeves did a great job here.
Excellent, Mark. Always very well said. It's always nice to, I get to do this stuff with you. And finally, Joe from Fall One Gaming, give us your general thoughts, a rating, and of course, tell them about tomorrow and tell them about Friday.
Yes. All right. So the movie itself, overall, it was exactly what it needed to be. And, was it a perfect movie? No, but it met all the expectations I needed it to meet. I'm with everybody on this. Ben Affleck is Batman. However, I'll also say Michael Keaton is Batman.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Truest statement of the night.
Yeah. So that being said, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. It was a wild ride for me, and I loved every minute of it. That being said, tomorrow we start our playthrough on Twitch at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of Gears 5.
Get your Lancers out, people!
And then again on Friday we start. We're gonna do a one-off playthrough of Twisted Metal Black.
Yes, blast from the past, baby.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't miss that.
Absolutely. Joe, thanks for all that you do here. So I will close it out real quick. So listen, unpopular opinion, but for me, it goes Affleck, Keaton. I'm going to go Pattinson, Adam West, Christian Bale, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, in that order. I'm giving this movie 9 out of 10. Again, this movie was almost perfect, minus my nitpicks with the bomb scene, the backpack, and, and again, I wasn't a fan of emo Bruce Wayne at all. It was very unmasculine. He lacked toughness. He didn't feel like a CEO. Your parents died 20 fucking years ago. I mean, come on. You act like it happened yesterday. I did not like the unhinged approach, but his Batman was perfect. He had that Clint Eastwood voice, and I liked he looked great in the suit, and I like what they did. Again, props to Matt Reeves, because I kept thinking to myself, we've seen Batman so many fucking times. There's so many more DC characters out there. However, they did something different. I mean, we got Tim Burton's Batman, we got the Nolan trilogy, we got Snyder, we got Schumacher, and now we have this. A different interpretation of Batman. I appreciate that. And it's probably the best shot Batman movie I've ever seen. And again, it was a great detective story, which is something we, a full-on detective story. Yeah, we got detective work in the other movies, but not for the whole movie. So that being said, nitpicks aside, again, I'll never get over that stupid bomb thing, but I'm giving this 9 out of 10, and it's still better than any it's better than any MCU movie, but I cannot put it above Joker, and I can't put it above The Dark Knight. I don't think I could put it above 89 either, but this is up there with the great Batman movies, and I'm not, so yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And of course, I just want to plug something real quick. Again, we'll be back Thursday with Big Jack Films, as we just hand him the keys and let him go on about the Batman. I really can't wait to hear his thoughts. So yeah, this movie's so huge that we had to do 2 streams for it. So yeah, we'll be back Thursday to talk more Batman. Joe already touched on Tuesday and Friday NerdCage Live Gaming, but I want to touch on Saturday, as we're going to do another 6-7 hour watch party as Tosi from Komi Dogu and Mad Mike Jones from Twitch. We're going to sit down and watch episodes 8 through 15 of Mortal Kombat Conquest. Woo! Bring the ruckus, baby. I cannot wait. We're going to be doing that Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll take breaks between each episodes, and yeah, the first 7 episodes was a blast, and we're eager to do it again. So yeah, look forward to that. So we're streaming 5 days this week.
Yeah, we should have a lot to talk about with them, considering they just had their interview with Jeffrey Meeks.
Yeah, they interviewed Jeff Meek, a.k.a. Raiden and Shao Kahn from the show, and that's releasing Wednesday on their channel on Kombi Dogu, so check that out. But again, thank you to all these handsome fucks you see on the screen right now. PTA Sports, Derek from Bonus Commentary, WilldBand, Yoko Higuchi, Joseph Spiller, Dion McGill, Matthew Farden, of course, Marq, Joe, thanks for doing this shit with me. You guys are fantastic. Thank you to everybody in the chat who hung out with us all night to talk spoilers of the Batman. Very much appreciate. Go see this movie. I think this movie deserves multiple viewings, and yeah. It's fun to speculate, and I cannot wait till we do the next spoiler stream. I don't know if you guys are feeling a Morbius spoiler stream.
I'm up for that.
But yeah.
He turned into a bat.
Just
Spoiler.
trying to speak it into existence, Morbius.
One of my
'cause that's
favorite
the next
characters of
book
all
movie.
time.
I mean, I think the movie's gonna be shit personally, but I think it's gonna be worth a spoiler stream. Just saying.
At least he's honest.
But I'm gonna go see it opening night regardless. Okay. So that being said, we previously asked you to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and spread this shit like syphilis. So you guys say, from yours truly, Syracuse, New York, Chicago, Illinois, New York City, Louisville, Kentucky, Lancaster, California, Los Angeles, California, Phoenix, Arizona, the University of Maine, to all of our friends and fans around the world at NerdCage Live, PTA Sports, Bonus Commentary, WilldBand, Resistance Films, the Z Movie Podcast, the University of Maine, Off the Beaten Podcast, and of course, Matt Farden.
That's a mouthful.
As always, enjoy life.
I would have fucked up.
Stay safe. Eat your vegetables. Do your push-ups. And good night.
Homer's the worst Batman. Y'all know it.
Good night.
Oh, fuck. Someone put us in Arkham.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe.
Okay.
Shoot it!
All right.
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom! Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster. Oh no, Joe. The galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
Ooh, trying to get out of the nerd cage, are ya? Well, before you go, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really intrigued, ring that bell. Thank you for dropping by. Until next time, tell everyone you know about NerdCage Live!